Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am going to show you a recipe that a lot of southern states especially have different versions of this, and we've already showed you our Alabama version, and now we're going to do our Ozark version, which is much closer to home. And this is Ozark Blackberry Cobbler, and so I'm going to make the crust first, and then the filling. And so the crust, I have a cup of flour and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt in my bowl. And you can use your electric mixer for this, but you don't have to. You can use a fork or a pastry blender, whichever you're more comfortable with. So I have that, and then I'm going to cut into that, I don't just totally drop it, my shortening, which is a 1/3 cup of shortening. My oven is hot, set for 375. And I'm just going to use my fork, and again, you could do this with an electric mixer and do it, just beat it until the shortening is the size of small peas. But I'm going to use my fork. So we're just going to cut that in until it's small pea size. And I have my pastry, or my mat, ready to go, my rolling pin, and my 8x8 baking dish. And you can use fresh blackberries if you have them. If you're using fresh, it'd take about 3 cups. If you're using frozen, it'll take about 16 ounces. Okay, and then I have 3 tablespoons of cold water that I want to add into that. And again, you could still use your electric mixer if you want to, and form this into a dough that sticks together. And then we're going to use our hands to complete the process to form it into a ball. You just don't want to overmix, because then your crust would be tough. Transfer this to my silicone mat and roll it roughly the size of my baking dish, 8x8. And then I'll cut slits in this, and then this will be ready to set aside until I'm ready for it. I'm just going to put a little bit of flour on my mat so it doesn't stick. You don't want to overdo it. And roll it to my 8x8. Grab my sides a little bit. Okay, I'll take my knife and cut a couple of slits. And that's just a vent so the air can escape while it bakes. Now I'm ready to combine the items for my filling, and I have my blackberries that I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of almond extract to. You don't want to overdo this either. A little bit goes a long ways. I am going to wash my hands off. So I've got that going, but I'm also going to add my sugar, and I have 3/4 cup of sugar to a separate bowl, and I have a 1/4 cup of flour that I want to mix together. And I'm going to toss this into my berries. And I did it this way so that in the metal bowl so that it wouldn't stain my white bowls. So I'm just going to give that a quick toss. And this is going to go in my 8x8. And then I have 2 tablespoons of butter that I've cut up into small pieces that I want to dot on the top of this. And finally, I'm going to take that crust. I'm going to lay it over the top, kind of work it into the sides. And then I have about a tablespoon of sugar I want to sprinkle over the top of this. And then I'm going to put it in my oven at 375 for about 45 to 50 minutes to get that crust a golden brown. And there you have Ozark Blackberry Cobbler. Good morning and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. We are still doing some state recipes, and the one I'm going to do recipe New Orleans red beans and rice. And in a couple of weeks, I have Nick Seven coming back to cook with me, and he's from Louisiana, and I just love the things that he shares with us that are authentic Louisiana and Cajun cooking. But this is one of those recipes that would fall in that category too. It's traced back to that whole Creole, African, Spanish, French influence. And red beans and rice, the history of it is that on Monday, that was wash day, and so they needed a dish to serve in the evening that would take all day and not require a lot of attention. So they'd throw the beans on and cook them slow, and then they'd be ready for the evening meal. So it's also a very economical dish. It doesn't cost a whole lot to make, which is nice, and it's filling. So I'm going to start with 1 pound of dry red beans and put those in my crock pot. And you could do this on the stovetop, but crock pot's super easy. Then I'm going to add what could be called the Holy Trinity. I have onion, celery, and green pepper. And you could use a combination of red and green pepper, but it's 1 whole pepper, about a half a onion chopped or whatever you like as far as flavor, and then 3 stalks of celery that I've diced up. And I always miss. But it's on a clean surface, so we can throw it in there. Okay, and I'm also going to, for the liquid that goes in this, you could do a combination of things. You could actually use 7 cups of water, and only water, which is most economical, but you could also take 4 cups of water and then substitute some of the water with a cup of tomato sauce and 2 cups of chicken broth, which would give you a richer flavor. And that rich flavor is what I want. So I have my 4 cups of water, my cup of tomato sauce, and then I will put in 2 cups of chicken broth. I'm also going to add to this 3 cloves of garlic that are minced up. So I'm also going to add to my mixture 3 cloves of minced garlic. And then for seasoning, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of Creole seasoning. And you can add a little less if you don't like a lot of seasoning, but I wouldn't, excuse me, I wouldn't go too much less. Okay. Now the only other thing that goes in our pot to cook slowly, tickle, is our andouille sausage. And you can put this in right away and cook it for the 7 hours on high, and then we're going to serve it over rice. Or I'm going to wait until it's about halfway through to put my sausage in. So it just depends on the type of andouille that you're using. But anyway, that will be put on high for 7 hours, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.